Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to me now having even less block bucks, because before recording this video, I left this lovely tech AFK, and it ended up getting killed, and that was because I wanted a picture for the thumbnail of the last video, so huzzah for that, we just lost like 200,000 more block bucks. Either way though, today is going to be the day we finally build our own little hover. Well, I say little. I don't actually know the size of the hover we're going to build. I have built a small assault hover before, so maybe we'll go a little bit more extreme. I think I'm going to be using the venture cannons or the megaton cannons. I just want something very blunt force and explosive, so that's definitely maybe what we're going with. Honestly, I don't know. But here's the twist. One of the main reasons I dislike hovers in this game is the lack of control of your altitude. So, instead of just having the hovers, we're also going to have these rotors facing down, so when I press shift, the entire craft will simply sink, and someone's about to spawn in a very bad place. Oh. Apparently this was for a mission, I was unaware. Well, first of all I'll do this mission, then we're going to get building our hover. We could, of course, have the hover with just loads of auto cannons and stuff, loads of little bullets, but I don't think that'll work out too well for a hover, since trying to stay still and just pepper the enemy isn't going to be the easiest thing in the world when you have no brakes or friction. Yeah, that's the other reason I've never been a massive fan of hovers, because trying to keep them even slightly still is very difficult without anchoring them. They'll also need to be able to anchor. Something very simple is becoming more and more complex in my head. Home sweet home. Now, a few people did notice this in the previous video, but apparently, throughout the video, I was accidentally duplicating and then leaving things behind before I even noticed the duplication glitch, especially, apparently, with the Geocorp anchored mass SCUs. So, from now on, I am forbidding myself to sell these or use them for scrap, because I can't remember how many I had originally before the bug actually occurred, so need to be really careful. Also, apparently, it can occur when you're standing still. I don't even know how to do that. I'm purposefully avoiding trying to find out. Oh, and yes, the wireless chargers still don't work, which means the hovercraft really needs to anchor. Now, when it comes to the hovercraft, we have a few options when it comes to the hover itself, and the options are not currently available over here. Okay, well, we can have a look in the fabricator, can't we? So, yeah. Over here, we have the 0G plate from Venture, and this would fit in quite well because I do want to use the Venture cannons, and the Venture blocks are normally a lot lighter, and I could even use the pinwheel propellers and stuff to get up and down, or even the 0G propellers. So, lots of stuff there I could use. I could go over to GSO. I said to GSO, okay, let's just click here then instead, there we go. And GSO has something similar. It has the large hover plates and the smaller hover plates, and then we have the newest one, which is the powerlift hover from Geocorp. Now, technically not the newest, because the newest is this, the flying fortress hover plate. The problem is, I can't craft these, and it's rare to see them drop or be available in the shops. Now watch me click this and instantly have one available. There's two. Why does everything want to prove me wrong? I mean, I'm happy I got them, but why now? Okay, so we have 4. Maybe we can use these then, because these are ludicrously powerful. Ludicrously. I cannot speak today. Observe. Whee! Well, that caused me to lose one of my weapons, but it was totally worth it. Yeah, we have some spares anyway, it's fine, no problem. How do I have a Hawkeye block attached to its butt? There we go. Now, one thing I'm definitely going to need a lot of are the gyroscopes, because if we're going to use rotors to try and get up and down and actually control our pitch, well, to get down anyway, since the hovers will always throw us upwards, the rotors will allow us to duck, meaning we can actually dodge attacks, which will be really, really cool. We need to make sure we are really, really stable, because there's no way I can build it 100% perfectly stable, and also if we take any damage, then our stability is going to be thrown off, so obviously we need lots and lots of these. The payload terminals. Going to purposefully avoid those still. We still haven't reached a point where I'm happy to use the payload terminals. Honestly, I don't like the current version of the payload terminals. Anyway, I think they're just a little bit too overpowered. It's too easy to make money in the game, and it just kind of stops a bit of the grind. And sometimes that's fun in games. But at the same time, I am actually playing this for a living, so I have more time to play this than pretty much anyone who doesn't also do that. So, yeah. Well, since I think it was a bit of a sign, we are indeed going to go with the experimental hovers, which are really, really powerful. So, this is going to be a bit difficult to work with, honestly. Wait, we have 3? Didn't I have 2 and then... Where did the one go which I threw? I didn't actually destroy it, did I? Surely not. Oh, it's there, stuck to the wall. Well, mini panic over pretty quickly. Now, of course, we could use the Venture cab, but this cab is just so much better. It has so many connection points, it's easier to defend, easier to work with. We will be using Venture blocks, however, purely because they are lighter. It means we can be a lot quicker. Now, the problem with having the rotors facing down is it does stop me from having thrusters. The reason is you can't keybind so that the thrusters and the propellers are on different keys. They'll always activate together, so anytime I want to move forwards using the thrusters, the propellers will also force me down, and then I'll crash into the ground. Not exactly the most pleasant thing in the universe. Now, we could instead use the GSO turbine. Yeah, that would look really nice, the propellers down like this. That would look better than the propellers from Venture. I feel like this isn't going to be a purely themed vehicle. It's going to be just a mix, honestly. Which is fine, just... It's nice when it's a pure one corporation. It all looks a bit more tied together, you know? It looks a bit more uniform, a bit prettier. At least to my humble opinion. Is it that way it's meant to be? I'll check that in a second. Yep, so right now we can shake violently. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. Okay, back to what I was doing then. Oh, I've accidentally activated the bug. Okay, so this is a bug with hovers, and I didn't know it still worked like that. That was because I put the block above the hover, correct? But I thought that was only with weapons or movement parts facing down. Turn off build mode, and... Oh dear god, this is probably going to take damage. Please hovers activate in time, please hovers activate in time, please hovers activate in time, please... Okay, this is annoying. After testing out loads of different settings, having different levels of hover, different levels of stabilization, different weights, it seems like if you want to be stable, it's best to be on the low end of strength and the high end of weight. As you can see, this is just about hovering, but look at how stable this looks. It's really pleasant to watch, really pleasant to use, and honestly, I think it just looks really, really nice. So, I want it a little bit stronger than this, but we're probably not going to be as high off the ground as I originally intended. And if I press shift, it still isn't strong enough. We are going to need such strong propellers to keep us down. I'm really hoping it works, but by the looks of things, hovers beat propellers, and they really, really beat them. So if we are to do anything like that, ow, we're definitely going to need more. And that's another reason why I want stronger hovers. Did I just lose a hover? Looks like I may have. Yep, definitely did. Ow. Now, of course, these hovers don't get very high anyway. Just making a note there, since I did completely ignore that fact a second ago. So even if we have loads of these, I don't think we can get very high off the ground. But I have been testing out with different strengths of these, and once again, it does seem like the closer you are to being almost non-hovering, the more stable you are, within reason. Obviously, extremes are still pretty bad. There we go. If we add all of these extra, we should still be at around about the same height, but probably a lot more bouncy now. Yeah, there we go. Look, absolutely bouncy and horrific to watch. And occasionally it gets worse as well. Oh, it is stabilizing. It just seems like these being weaker just makes a nice stable ride anyway, but still bouncy. Yeah. So, probably quite a skip from the previous clip. I'm probably not going to use a lot of footage I've just recorded because I kept on messing up. I think I've messed up building this craft more than I've ever messed up building any craft ever, and it seems like I'm saying stuff like that a lot recently. But basically, hovers, as you can see, are naturally very volatile, even if you have them in the center of the craft, which can be problematic by itself, because then when you're trying to go up slopes, it takes too long for it to react, and well, you end up crashing into the side of the mountain, but they tend to react very violently when only a few can actually see the ground and then push. This is very bad. Well, I was building it so the entire craft was top-heavy, at least above the center of lift. Because of this, that just made things so much worse. So now I've kind of got the hang of a few of the basics, even though this one is still far from perfect, and I think we can start moving forwards, making something actually quite functional. This is just a little test drone I've been flying around to make sure I'm actually getting things correct. It's weird how hovers give me far more problems than helicopters or planes or anything else in this game. Apparently my common sense just turns off when I see them. One more thing I've thankfully found out is that hovers can anchor, there we are, as long as they are not technically flying, meaning that it's not exactly difficult to get these to anchor to the ground. Honestly, they act as if they're in the build beam, which makes them easier to anchor than ground techs. Admittedly, that is weird, but I am happy it works that way because it certainly benefits us. Now the real question is, what type of weapon should this lovely little carrier bring? And I think me saying carrier there kind of spoiled what I'm going to say. I think it should bring these, the Venture Cluster Missile Launchers. They kind of look like little tiny craft. This sort of looks like a craft which is going to bring its allies, and we can build these really easily because they're so easy to place. And they can fire at things very close by. It means I don't have to constantly shift orientation to aim at the enemy. And, well, swarm missiles absolutely everywhere is always fun to watch. Even if it's not the strongest thing in the world, that is pretty cool. What on earth just happened? Okay. That was bizarre. Oh, it tried to anchor. I just heard the anchoring noise. Well, that was weird. Now, the reason why that goes so high up is because right now we have too many hovers. Basically, it throws itself in the air because the craft is too light in comparison to how many hovers we have. That's a balancing issue which will be fixed as we continue. And continue we shall. So I'm thinking lots and lots of Venture missiles. Especially since these are the lower end ones as well. They're not the most effective in the world, but that just looks so freaking cool. Hello there. Behold the swarm of missiles. As I simply go past you. That's another benefit to these missiles. You don't have to stop for a second. Since they aim by themselves and don't even rely on a turret, that is pretty darn fantastic. The problem with them is they are very weak versus shields. I would say maybe one of the weakest weapons versus shields in the game, which is kind of weird, honestly. They still will drain shields, but against things like this, yeah, it's a losing battle, to say the least. But doesn't it look so cool? They may not be great versus shields, but with enough number, they will still be victorious. And because we can keep on moving, enemies are going to have a real tough time shooting this thing down, which is very nice for us. Only real worry are things like railguns and missiles. Oh, that was weird. Let's turn on the thrusters and get out of there. Now, I think I am focusing a little bit too much on missiles here, but the thing is, with drones being so drift-heavy, I just do not want to bother with weapons that take long to aim. So anything with any level of self-homing, very welcome. Also, I'm starting to really like how this looks. Very basic, not exactly inspired, but I do like it. How about if we do this? Because brackets are awesome, especially for someone that moves a bit lazy, because they just look good straight away, even if you're placing them quite badly. Like that. No, how about if you actually go in the correct position? Come on, there we go. You see, this is why I cut out most of the actual building, because it's just me doing that for a good few hours. There we are. Okay, we're currently drifting backwards because we're a little bit too back heavy, so I do need to work on that in a second, but still. That is very cool. I'm not a messy builder. I don't know what you're talking about. So, one of the major problems right now, which is holding me back, is actually just the paint scheme of this thing. It looks like a clown vehicle. Now, admittedly, the enemies will still run away from a clown vehicle that's firing missiles at their face, but they may do so with a smirk on their face, and I just can't allow that. So, what we need to do is seriously consider removing all of the Venture stuff, at least the regular blocks, and replacing them with either GSO or Hawkeye. The darker colours should make this thing look a lot better, honestly. Although, not by much. The bright yellows are still going to be bright yellows, and I really, really like the Geocorp hovers, so I don't think I'm going to remove them. Yeah. Well, it looks a little bit less silly now, at least. Missiles on the side. Now, it may look like they don't work, but that's purely because they're not tracking an enemy. When they are tracking something, if I remember how to actually do this... Come on, change sides. There we go. As you can see, they work just fine. Oh, you have to actually click the enemy, not the symbol. I get it now. At some point, I will actually stop changing my mind, and when that happens, I don't know, maybe something will actually get done. But either way, right now, I'm going to remove all those side missiles, and instead, we have even more battery space. This thing is essentially, right now, just a flying bundle of batteries. The mass distribution is still completely off, but considering we haven't even got any weapons right now, clearly more weight's going to be added. Turning speed is faster, but still not too quick, and it will take an absolute beating to defeat, which is kind of the purpose. Very, very slightly front heavy. Turning is good. Firepower is fine, nothing really amazing, but it's okay. Shield power is ridiculous. We now have so many batteries in this somewhat small craft, it's unbelievable. This thing is going to survive so much punishment. Speed is actually quite nice. Yeah, definitely too front heavy though. Okay, so fix the front heavy problem, and we should be okay. Now, what I could do is put these missiles back here, but the problem with that is that the reason why these two are not that good is because we tend to aim down our foes, since most enemies are going to be ground, and then these simply can't fire, which is definitely a problem. Now, mounting them on the side would probably alleviate a lot of that. Not all of it, but some of it. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So mount those on the side and then connect them up via these. As my speech apparently now it just really wants to go away. I have been building this now for way longer than you may expect, considering the video's runtime. There's a lot cut out of this. This was definitely a learning episode for me. Next time, we'll build a much better hover. But if I can get this fully functioning and in a position where I'm happy, I will consider this a huge success. Ooh, how about that? That was by accident, but... Come on. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Up we get. And then down we go. And that's fine. Hello, Terratech sign. And fire. Lovely. So, to fix the weight issue, we could just add more thrusters at the back as well. That would be very minimal effort. Oh, wow, it's the perfect size for the Geocorp ones. Well, that settles it then. Yeah, 2 of those. Now, those are very heavy, though. Yeah, okay, maybe just 1 of those. These do weigh an absolute ton. And now? Slightly back heavy still. I would actually rather it be back heavy than front heavy, just for controls. That looks cool. Runs out of fuel too fast, though. These are very fuel hungry, so maybe not after all that. Can swap these for GSO or Hawkeye, add some armor plating. So, additional back armor added, even more batteries added to the back, and we have some hidden fuel tanks. This thing is very, 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 very close to being done at long last. I have never been so happy to see the end of a creation, even though now I am actually very, very, very happy with it. So much so, I'm having to repeat every single word, quite a lot. Maybe I've been staring at this craft for too long, but it kind of looks like 2 judging eyes and a judging mouth. Yeah, Lathrix, you think you're decent at building? Try and build a basic hovercraft. It'll take you hours. And nothing will work. I'm so disappointed in myself. Yes, take out your judgment on everything else but me! Well, that certainly worked. Gotta love leaving corpses behind you. So much better than leaving them in front of you. Okay, let's see how we do versus these guys. Just testing out the placement of the main missiles, really. Main missiles. My god, I am so tired right now. Good! It works! Like it should have done, like an hour ago. Thank you for dying. It keeps doing that when I get close to enemies. I don't actually know what causes that, and I need to find out. Why won't you die? What are you made of? Thank you! On the upside, it was hitting me almost the whole time, and it was okay. Oh, is it the recoil from the bottom? Wow, it looks almost laggy. Once again, it's happening. I don't know. Maybe it's the recoil from the missiles. I don't care to find out. Okay, good. Next. Thankfully, I have saved this design, so even if it dies, and I don't really care if it does, we can simply spawn it in. It will always be there to judge me and my terrible building skills. I have never felt quite as bad at building as when I tried to build this thing. Rails do nothing. Ooh, these shields are a little bit too far back, I've noticed. Not a major issue, but it will be an issue with things like missiles and explodey bobs. Thank you. Next, please. Missiles! That's what I was talking about! Explodey bobs! Really? The last missile did it? How did it only destroy that perfect section? That was the most satisfying death ever. Last one. I will consider that a success, so thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. And if you don't like the video, this face will haunt you in your dreams, as it will haunt mine for many months to come. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Now, if you excuse me, I have a mental breakdown I am late for.